1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Dhyani Buddhas. 5 Dhyani Buddhas. 5 Dhyani Buddhas. So we come, sent by the right hand of God, Brahman with the word. We come at the call of the unascended bodhisattvas who have called to us, who have called unto us and called again and again and again, pulling upon the 5 inner voices, the 5 inner voices of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. Yes, we have come, therefore the black and the white keys, the yin and the yang and the sounding of the 5 symbols and syllables of light. So we come, and we come as it is our office. And it is our office to come in this hour, for you have pulled and pulled and tugged, and each time you have recited our names, you have pulled us to the very levels of the earth. You have pulled us to the very levels of the astral plane. You have pulled us to the lowest levels of incarnation of all souls who are karmically tied to you, beloved. For this is the law, that when you give the mantra, when you give the mantra, when you give the mantra, that mantra therefore does go forth and touch those who are at any level in the earth body, who are yet alive, who are yet breathing, whose flames have not gone out. Yes, beloved, therefore the mantras you have given unto us are the mantras who have reached the levels of death and hell, the 33 levels descending, the 33 levels of the etheric octave. Beloved ones, you may know that many schools of Buddhism this day, they have preferred to engage in meditation, often meditating day and night, and they in some cases have left off the recitation of the mantras of the Buddha, of the mantras of Kuan Yin. And therefore, inadvertently, they have left off using the science of the spoken word. Do you know, beloved, that all mantras of the Buddhas do invoke the violet flame? Therefore, when you give the Buddhist mantras, you are calling forth the violet flame. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om. Flash forth violet flame, flash forth violet flame, flash forth violet flame, let the light descend then. Therefore we follow the mantra, we follow the point of origin of the word, we follow those who give the recitation of the bija mantras, the seed syllables unto the Divine Mother, unto the goddesses, unto the Dhyani Buddhas, unto the entire hierarchy of Buddhas. Therefore the point of the sounding of the mantra calls the one whose mantra it is to that point. Thus you have successfully called us to the depths of the astral plane, beloved ones, by the remaining ties of life streams that you have who are abiding in those levels. We consider this to be a great boon, for unless the law would dictate otherwise unto us, beloved, we are subject to that law, whereby we cannot descend any lower than there is a manifestation of a disciple of one of us. If one of us does have a disciple at a certain level, then we all may descend to that certain level. For are we not as a hand, the 5 fingers on the hand, beloved, 4 plus the thumb, so we are extensions, light emanations by the 5 secret rays of the hand of Almighty God, yes, of the hand of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, and of Brahman from the beginning. And even so we function from those inner secret ray spheres surrounding the Holy of Holies of the I Am that I Am. Know then, beloved, that you have carried us and our bodhisattvas and our disciples and chelas to all levels now, and therefore we have duplicated ourselves as we have manifested our presences in a million different points of light at all levels of evolution in the matter cosmos. This has not happened, beloved, for a very, very, very long time. Therefore, we bow to the light within you, for we are on the move midst all evolutions and life waves, and we are getting used to it again. We are most grateful that in commemoration of our coming, you have created the 5 cards to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. And in addition, you have seen to it that these cards, along with many others, have been placed in the marts of the world, in the bookstalls, and therefore along comes this or that one who may have known us 10,000 years ago and instantly recognizes that figure of the Buddha, that figure of each one of us, and does take that card, and therefore there is the focus whereby we may enter. And you have lovingly placed the description and the mantras on these cards. Thus dance with them, beloved. Take the 5, put them in a frame together, string them on a string about your neck when you meditate, and see how we will do all that we can, as you do all that you can, to accelerate the activation of the 5 secret rays within you. There is a dearth of soul development on these rays, for scarcely does humankind find itself able to even master one of the 7 rays, much less 2 or 5 or 7 of those rays. So you see, because you have worked with the fundamentals of the 7 rays and have established a certain equilibrium of grace within your heart and respect for the Chohans and for the rays themselves, for the light itself and the law itself, you then are becoming the gentle ones. And we are likewise gratified that the messenger with staff have put together the teachings of the great Tao, for out of the great Tao proceed also the retinue of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. And so in the gentleness of the Tao, in the ultimate power of the Tao, in the universal presence of the Tao, you find a balancing and you find a way of thinking that is oriental, which some understand and some do not. And yet the riddles, the enigma, the Zen mind, perhaps you should engage in a greater exercising of both sides of the brain and all sides of the body, that you might know a greater balance in your bodies, for a greater comprehension of those things that are inner in the 5 secret rays and those things that are outer in the 7 rays, all of which are a very part of your being, and yet you have not learned to access these. Many ways are opening up to you. Many pathways are allowing you to see how you can balance not only the brain and the both sides, both hemispheres of the brain, but also balance the lower mental body with a higher mental body, so that ultimately that mind might be the vessel of the higher mind, and so that the mind of God might be in you always, that was in and is in your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. The mind of God in you, beloved, is present when you have keen awareness and an absolute foreknowledge of conclusions that must be made, of decisions, of the future itself. The opening of the mind of God within you has to do with your calling to mighty cosmos for the 5 secret rays. Hitherto, therefore, you did not have our names. Now you have our 5 names, which are attached to the 5 rays of mighty cosmos. And so if you will call to cosmos and give our names at the beginning of that decree, you will know the stimulation of those 5 rays, those 5 spiritual senses and other dimensions of your own being, by which you will profit and by which others may profit, for you will see into the distant past, and the distant past will be projected upon the distant future, and you will see how ancient history does repeat itself and repeat itself until it is played out and outplayed again, until the karma is balanced and the lessons are learned. Now look at mankind and be prophets under the tutelage of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. Simply ask the question and then listen for a time, a week or 2, and then answer it yourself out of your own higher mind. Ask yourself the question, is a certain level of the mankind of earth, or of the community or the nation whence you have come, are they ready for a certain little step that they might take to improve their lot and the lot of their country? Are they ready? Assess then the people who come from your hometown, or where you live today, or where you have taken up your calling and your profession in life. Say to yourself, now if these people could grasp just this one single truth, and perhaps this one affirmation, would they do it? And if they did it, would there be a certain bringing upward to a certain new level of vision, of sensitivity, of insight, of foresight? Could they not meet the crisis that is before them? I bid you make a study of certain groups of people, societies, those of varying levels of education, specialization in areas, those who are more to the right, to the left, or in the center of their outview, of their viewpoint of life. And think about these people and think of their goodwill, of their intelligence, of their desire to help people and help the world and heal the world. Think of them and ask yourself, if I were a shepherd called of my Lord Maitreya, called of my Lord Jesus Christ, what one thing, what nucleus or seed of truth might I give to this group of people that might bring them to a deeper recognition, to a deeper recognition of the God within them, of the power of that God to work a work through them in their day, to heal schisms and old feuds, to raise the level of vision of the youth, and bring to them a finer education and a finer spiritual path. What spiritual path would you bring to them? What is the first thing you would teach them? Would it be, beloved Kuthumi's I am light decree, or the tube of light, or the violet flame? Think then of morsels. Think of Holy Communion. Think of the bread. Think of the wine. Think in that is the whole body of the living Christ and the blood of that Christ. In the morsel, in the fragment, is contained the whole. I ask you, what fragment of the whole body of teaching of the law of the great Dharma of your own causal body? What fragment of that causal body, beloved, would you now say is the very prescription for the opening of the mind and the heart of one who has simply been in a state of doggedly following a materialistic civilization and way of life? Yes, people can change in the twinkling of an eye. People can change in a moment of vision, when they see a certain event happening, a certain revelation. Perhaps it is a motion picture, a book, or a view of people interacting. Yes, beloved, in a moment, through a point of light, the very right point of light, souls may be awakened, they may be quickened, they may come to the realization, because you are the catalyst. You are the catalyst. Not necessarily knowing in the outer, but always following the inner guidance and the inner direction that says, yes, give this little something to that one, give this little something to another. And suddenly, someone's world turns around, someone's world is changed. Oh, beloved, get out of your pocket that precious tool that is called ingenuity. Ingenuity. Thinking of something that applies so immediately to the situation that will reach that certain one who may be in despair or in a state of despondency. Blessed hearts. For this, the 5 Dhyani Buddhas excel. We excel in helping you to unlock the inner being, the secret chamber of the soul that has been sealed off to that soul. We unlock inner doors, and the right door, I tell you, is the open door to all the rest. And once the soul has the courage, the prompting, the support, the direction, and the love and compassion from you to open that door and go through, that soul will know his own inner Christ. That soul will say, I have found it. I am home free at last. Now I must simply walk in the footsteps of my former karmas, turn and face the sun and walk back every step of the way that I walked out. Oh, my father, oh, my mother, I am coming home. To assist you, beloved ones, in this effort, in this wondrous opportunity that we bring, we are bringing this night to you strong antidotes for the poisons, the 5 poisons that must be antidoted in every life stream, in every one. When you call upon us, all 5 of us, and now compose a preamble to any decree whereby you invoke us and our powers to antidote the 5 poisons, and that which is the 6th of the Vajrasattva. When you will do this in the formation of the 6-pointed star, we will come, we will apply the antidotes, As you apply a disinfectant to an open wound, we will apply them to yourselves, to your 4 lower bodies and chakras. We will apply them to those souls who are in the grips of death and hell because they are the slaves of the poisons. And these poisons have infested the mind, the desire body, the physical body, until they can no longer see or think or change their minds, and therefore only divine intercession will help them, consumed by the fire of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. Those poisons, you see, the poisons, beloved, are the product of the misuse of the 5 layers, the inner sheaths of being. And so it is as though a certain portion of the being of the individual has been devoured by the poisons. And this devouring then of the individual and of the sheaths by the partaking of the poisons is extremely dangerous. You may take in the poisons that are the antithesis of the qualities of the 7 rays without as great a harm as you will find if you take in the poisons of the 5 secret rays. For these are very close to the nucleus of self, and therefore these poisons bore through the sheaths, and they begin to eat away at the very real identity and nucleus of the individuality that is left of that one. And that individuality may indeed be shrinking by a cancer that is produced by the 5 poisons. And thus the soul must be alerted, the soul must be awakened. And that is why I say to you, use your ingenuity to awaken a soul to something better, something higher, and give that soul some lift of your mantle, some lift of your own empowerment, some lift of that which you have agreed to carry of the light itself, which is the burden of the Lord. You see, beloved, when a soul is so weak, as you see people this day who are dying in great terror and horror, and their bodies are weak, and their beings are weak, and they can scarcely think, they are surely not in a position to say, this day I will be the champion of the Lord. This day I will go out and forge my victory. Well, beloved, as you see individuals dying in the physical sense, know that souls also do die, because they rot away, because none have come forward to care for them. And in a roundabout way you have done just that already, for you have invoked our names, you have invoked the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, and as I have said in the beginning, we have therefore penetrated all levels. So you have begun the process to be on the wavelength of the 5 secret rays, where you can rush in as an emergency crew, and you come as a crew, and you go and you administer mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and you begin to apply the unguents that will be for the healing of those 5 delicate layers of being that surround the soul that is yet fragile, and yet perhaps in a great state of soul malady. Thus you come as physicians of the spirit for the healing of souls. That is what the Guru is, the doctor of souls. Come then, beloved, and understand that these souls can reverse, their courses can reverse, their diseases of the spirit, their maladies of the central nervous system, their maladies that permeate all thinking areas and clog up the avenues of the spiritual senses. All of these maladies can be turned around. Turn them around by the positive spin of your decrees, and never, 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 never again let yourself go into a negative spiral. For when you allow yourself to be in a negative spiral, you are transmitting that negative spiral to others who are already in a negative spiral, and therefore you are hastening the day of their demise, and you don't even know it, beloved ones. Well, it is so, and remember this: when you have access to the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, then you also have access to our causal bodies, and to the potential of calling forth those bodies for the healing of the life waves of the earth, and for the healing of the body of the earth itself. Do you understand, beloved, the responsibility with which we come? For when you maintain a positive spin in your chakras, mind, heart, and soul, you are bequeathing that moment by moment, day by day, to the entire evolution of planet Earth. And at the same time, when you indulge yourself in bouts of depression and self-pity and degradation and entering into alliances whereby you are not careful with the light of God, then I tell you, you are contributing to the downward course of many, 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 many life streams. Do not make this karma. Do not make this karma, beloved ones. And sometimes those who care for you, who watch over you from above, will see to it that you have some calamity come upon you to stop you in your tracks, to make you think that it is better that you get on that positive spin again and leave behind you some of those negatives that are tintillating in there, sparkling, but that sparkling is a sparkling of the levels of the astral plane. Beware then of those spirits that sparkle on the astral plane that would lure you to their levels. Do not tarry with them, but move on to the etheric octaves when you are out of the body in soul travel. We, the Dhyani Buddhas, have come to earth. We, the Dhyani Buddhas, have come here in the support of Elь Moriya. It is Elь Moriya for whom we stand, and every chela of the will of God, every chela of the messenger, everyone who will stop this hesitation, stop this fear and doubt, who will deal with it in their psychology and in their 5 secret ray calls, and it will come to that position where, come what may, they will say, I will be a chela of Elь Moriya, I will be a chela of the messenger, I will take advantage of those ones in my very midst who have walked the path with the immortals and who are tarrying with me now. Therefore we do come, therefore we do honor the beloved Elь Moriya this day, and we honor his chelas as well, and therefore we and our retinue do form circles about you now, and we are applauding you, beloved ones. So now the beloved Elь Moriya comes, and he stands as the representative of all chelas of the will of God upon earth. I trust, beloved hearts, that you have made your peace with beloved Elь Moriya and with his messenger, so that you may know and understand that by the lineage by which they have descended to the heart of Padmasambhava, so they come and so they do sponsor you. And therefore, beloved ones, for the coming of the Archangel Uriel, with the judgments described to you last evening, with the coming of these judgments, there has been therefore the reinforcing of the judgment of darkness as negative judgment, and the reinforcement of light, that is positive judgment. And therefore those who have the positive judgment have your reward with you this day for certain mighty acts of courage, of sacrifice on behalf of the great white brotherhood, on behalf of this movement and this path and teaching that is indeed for the salvation of the whole world of light bearers. And therefore, for the judgment is come, for the Holy Spirit has come, and for you yourselves have come. Certain karmas are now lifted from the chelas of Elь Moriya, and in this moment the angels of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas are lifting these karmas. Therefore be still and know that the I am that I am within you is God, that it is all reality. It is the reality of the eternal now, the now of past, present, and future. Thus, beloved, it is a moment of reward. And is it not written that the hour does come for the reward of the prophets and the saints and the holy ones in the earth? And therefore this is awards night at the Rойял Тетон Рэнч for chelaship on the path of fiery devotion, purity of heart, and willingness to go the extra mile. Those who would embody the living flame of Melchizedek, priest of Salem, King of Salem and priest of the Most High God. Those who would walk in the paths of righteousness of our Father Enoch. For those of you who know in your hearts the deepest inner striving of your souls, you may know now that you receive the lifting of certain karmas. Therefore, in the fullness of the Holy Ghost, of the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, I, Vajrasattva, have spoken to you, and I am here, and I am in the way with you. I am adorned and in the center of the tree of life. May it be so for you always. I look to your victory this day. I look to your victory every day. I look to the victory of planet Earth, because you have dared to open the mind and to receive enlightenment from the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, no matter what the cost. I congratulate you on your path and your mission. Onward, 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 onward.